Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. My co-host, DIANN BOEHM, has the day off. Joining me as co-host is a dear friend. He's also my mentor. He is a co-host. He's an expert presenter here in our Talking Heads platform, and he's an elevated listener. He's also leading a new panel show for men, about men, by men. His name is ROLAND FRIEDL. Let's welcome him. Hi, ROLAND.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Great to see you.
Nice to see you too. We've got a full house backstage, so I'm excited to bring everyone out. And I have to say, I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw that Helena Chard was here with us today. So we're going to bring her out. Welcome, Helena. Nice to see you.
Hi, Dr. Jackie. Hi, Roland.
Hi, Helena.
I got here by the skin of my teeth. I was racing in the car. I mean, Ian knew that I was really cutting it fine. And I literally raced here, got here just as you were going on. So I'm thrilled to be with you.
I am too. It's not the same when you're not here, Helena. So thank you for being here. So let's welcome some of our folks who are backstage. We've got the birthday boy himself. I was surprised he could actually make it here today after the festivities. We're going to welcome Ian PELHAM Turner.
Good afternoon, and I'm so pleased that Helena's arrived because she's got the script for this afternoon. Otherwise, you would have to have listened to the memory of a 71-year-old today. And whether everyone that is still working on it, I do not know, but it might have happened.
Well, you're looking quite happy and very festive, so I'm glad to see that you're here and that you had a great birthday. That's wonderful.
We did, and Helena was very, very helpful as well, helping to get things organized. And we went through so many different delicious cakes yesterday. We went to a place that I had chosen that has 25 varieties of cakes. I decided not to go through them all. That would have been too much even for myself, but we did sample some, and about we had about 8 people around the table, and we had quite a festive time last night.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I'm glad to hear you took a break from vegetables only, because
I'm back to them tonight.
Well, we are just thrilled that you're here and glad that you had a beautiful birthday. We have 2 other guests. One is joining us from Barcelona. I believe he is at the largest trade show, conference, convention in the world, the seafood convention. And I know it's going to be challenging with him being able to hear us, but we're welcoming him and we want to hear his story as well. Welcome, Simon MacDonald. Hi, Simon.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm really going to annoy you all because I have been soaking up the sun in sunny Barcelona on the east coast of Spain. Beautiful city. Absolutely fantastic. It'll be nice when they got it finished. But I'm here at the Seafood Expo Global, which is the biggest seafood show in the world. It's his first time here in Barcelona. But I'm having terrible problems with my sound today, so please signal, and if you want me to shut up, just go something like that, and I will eventually shut up. But we're having an absolute ball here today, and we can see behind me in that side on the picture there, we have langoustines coming out my ears quite literally today.
Thank you, Simon. We do have some pictures which we'll get to in a moment. We also have one special guest backstage, and just so happens that he is an expert when it comes to trade shows. So he's a business-to-business strategist, and he's actually a team member here at USA Global TV, and he has ties to the UK, and I know he's very excited to be able to be part of our show today. Let's welcome from the great state of Texas, Mr. Hyatt Ives.
Good morning, y'all. How are y'all be?
Hi, Hyatt.
Hi, Hyatt. Nice to have you here.
Good to be here.
The way I thought we would work the show today is Helena and Ian, you'll share the news with us. Then we'll go over to Simon and look at some of his photographs. And then Hyatt will have you talk about your connection to the UK and to trade shows. And Roland and I will add color commentary.
Yes.
All right. Over to you, Helena.
Okay, so we have, I don't know, sort of trying to give the feeling of over here at the moment, without it being too political. Lots of different things going on. I mean, we have Rishi Sunak. I'll begin with Rishi Sunak, who's Chancellor of the Exchequer, and everyone thinks he's possibly living on a different planet. He's been urged to cut tax whilst tackling the cost of living, because it's a real problem, as it probably is in with you as well in the States. But there's all this talk of people and food banks and the cost of living and inflation, and it's just come out that Rishi Sunak is going to be spending at least $13,000 a year heating his new swimming pool. Bearing in mind he's Chancellor of the Exchequer, it's not gone down too well. So that sort of has given a feel of the way things are. I think I'm moving swiftly on. I'm just going to sort of like jump from thing to thing. So also for now, it's quite interesting to see there's actually something called the 20 pence shop here. It's a shop in Yorkshire. So I don't know what 20 pence is in American currency. I'm being useless. Is it cents? 20 cents? I don't know. Anyway, so this shop opened 5 years ago. They wanted to help the local community. And so recently, especially, people have been like queuing for miles. I mean, what you can buy for 20 pence, I don't know, but just for £1, you can buy 5 items, and really good items, food, I don't know, presents, you name it. So that's, I think I'd like to visit it. It's a bit of a drive. It's Yorkshire, and they've been getting loads of media attention. Also, again, I'm going to do it's another one. There's a Labour lady called Angela Rayner. She's deputy leader of the Labour Party, and there's been this absolute sort of uproar. It's called Basic Instinct uproar, really. So one of our major newspapers has printed, with great big photos that she has been putting Boris Johnson off by crossing and uncrossing her legs. So it's really very sexist. Harriet Harman, political lady as well, Labour, has called for misogyny to be made punishable. But it's awful to think here we are in 2022. There's, serious work to be done. It really is going to put women going into politics. It's very naughty. Angela has got children as well. How dare people print silly stories like that? So that's not great, but good in a way, because, I think what's happened is people are standing up and they want change. They want culture change. Everyone is not putting up with lying, and people just want more equality. So it's quite interesting to just see how it lies here. Also, the NFFF. Now, I do wonder if anyone would know what that is. I think Simon possibly the most out of all of us. It's the National Fish Frying Federation have announced that chippies, so that's chip shops, and obviously here in Great Britain, they are really very popular. Everyone likes fresh fish and chips. They're saying that actually chippies will be shutting down in the next few months, which if that happens, that would be really sad. And it's to do with the fact that the price of sunflower oil, which is understandable, is absolutely astronomically high already. And also the cost of living going up as well, which means that basic fish and chips is going to be too expensive for people to just be buying. So they're going to struggle keeping going. So we all have to eat loads of fish and chips. And obviously, I think I put just a little bit of royal. I think we always love to talk about Her Majesty the Queen. She's back at Windsor, so she has travelled from Norfolk, from Sandringham. She had a quiet birthday, now 96, and everyone is celebrating the Platinum Jubilee that's coming up. Everyone's revving for it. I mean, we've even got, I think, Barbie has released a little, it's a sweet tribute from Barbie, has released, yes, there it is. I think it's actually a really good likeness, I have to say. So that's something Mattel has actually released. It's to celebrate Platinum Jubilee. It's a limited edition Barbie doll. And this is one of their ranges, which is visionary individuals with an outstanding impact and legacy in our society.
Helena?
Yeah.
Is this available for public, for anyone in the public to purchase?
I believe it is, because it's actually been released by Mattel, so I think it is available for purchase. No idea how much it costs. I sort of just fell upon it really, and I looked at it and I thought, actually, it's a really good likeness. So I was quite impressed.
It is. It's great. I love it.
Isn't it? Absolutely. So. And there's loads of celebrations. Prince Edward and Sophie Wessex were warmly welcomed on the second leg of the Caribbean tour. So there's been lots of jubilee and dancers and athletes and meeting lots of fantastic people in the Caribbean. We've had a big release of, you know, different things that are going to be. We've got Ed Sheeran, I think, leading the Platinum Jubilee People's pageant, along with Basil Brush. I don't know if everyone knows who Basil Brush is. Ian certainly will. But it's a great big pageant during the Jubilee time, I think on the 4th day. So there's going to be loads of people marching through. So that's really lovely to hear. So, and also we've heard that the pubs are going to be open until 1 a.m. over the Platinum Jubilee period. So everyone can toast Her Majesty the Queen's 7 decades on the throne. So, cheers. And I've got lots more, but I think, I think let's move on to somebody else.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay. So, Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner, what would you like to add to any of the news that's going on there in the UK?
I mean, the biggest things that are going on really in Britain at the moment is the cost of living. It's being discussed all the time in Parliament. We will find out next week, May the 5th, on how the country feels about how they're being governed at the moment and the cost of living crisis that we have right now. And this could be the downfall of Boris Johnson at the same time, because we're looking at the moment that this year we're predicted, or in the next few months, we're predicted to have 1% growth in Britain compared to other countries. And the World Bank and other financial organizations are predicting that next year we will be bottom of the G7 league of actually increasing trade again. And so I think, the destiny of Britain at the moment is going to be driven by Americans a lot of the time, because we want Americans coming back to Britain. I think the reality as well is that we need to have a trade agreement with America as well, which we don't really sort of have anymore. And so in order to get the trade agreement in place with President Biden, we then need to actually physically sort out the problem in Northern Ireland, because I don't think we're going to get any trade agreement at all until Northern Ireland is sorted out. So there's a lot going on right now, and people are worried about how they're going to live. And there's a phrase being used now because the cost of living has gone so high compared to the amount of income coming into people's homes. People are now using the phrase, can we eat or can we heat? Because it's still quite cold in Britain. Some days it's warm. Today it's quite cold again. And so the price of power, electricity and so forth has really risen quite considerably as well, and will rise yet again. And with the sort of the aspects like the fish fries, as Helena was saying, the problem with a lot of businesses right now are that because we have new immigration rules, that we're not allowing people into Britain who will probably work the lower paid jobs at the moment, and so that's affecting all sorts of tourism industries as well. And so, I think over the next 2 or 3 months we will be seeing a lot of political activity, and how the mood of the country actually is going to be seen once the election has happened. And the obviously at the moment Boris Johnson has already received a fine for his appearing at his birthday party going against COVID rules. And the next stage will be that there's still a lot of investigations going on, and it's rumored he could have 2 or 3 fines coming his way again soon for these Partygate situations, as they've been called. So it's a time, if you're into politics, as I am, I do a political show as well, then it's a time of great interest politically, because we've never had a prime minister receive this type of police recognition since the 1700s. So in some ways, it was always thought that Johnson wanted to create history, and he's just allowed himself to do so.
Ian, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm wondering, based on what Helena just shared about the Jubilee and the celebration and supporting the Queen, and then with the opposite side, with the politics, what is the mindset? What is the mood of the British people in reference to all these things?
I think, obviously there's a cost of living issue, but I think people are desperate and are trying to find feel-good things to enjoy. People are searching out simplicity, and I think people are very aware of people. It all stemmed from COVID. People are looking out for each other. So I feel there's a sense of camaraderie. There's a big hug. The whole world Great Britain hugging each other, because I think people are far more aware that there are some people in worse situations than others. And I think the whole thing about this, everyone wants feel good. And Dr. JACALYN, I think we also bear in mind it's Her Majesty the Queen's birthday. It's just gone. Ian's birthday as well. Congratulations, Ian. 71. Amazing. Doesn't he look good?
He looks great, yes.
We just want unashamedly feel good and fun. And something that we've had the other night is the premiere in Leicester Square, which is in the centre of London. It's a grand journey to the south of France, and it's called A New Era. It's Downton Abbey's new movie. And I cannot wait to see it. I am actually, as part of Ian's present, we're going to go and see it next week. And I just think it's some of it's set in the south of France. It's funny, belly laughing funny, great actors and actresses, great outfits. The culture and the whole scenery and the sunshine. That's really what everyone wants, just to even just sit and to watch and to laugh. And I cannot wait to see it. It's written by Julian Fellows, and myself and Ian have actually personally met him. We went to a party where he attended, and it was just really good fun. So I think that's a sort of double fun to go and see it. So I believe we have a clip of the trailer, so it'd be really good to show it, and it would just hopefully give everyone this feel-good feeling as well.
Wow, that looks amazing.
Dame Maggie Smith is just amazing. She plays the Dowager, and she's such a wonderful actress. She's so funny, and I actually think they've upped the comedy in it, so it's going to be great fun. We will report back. I'm not too sure when it's going to be showing in the United States, but I'm sure it will make its way to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the other thing, looking at all our other guests today as well on the show, is obviously when I was talking about trade and so forth, is I think we need innovations more in Britain. It'd be very interesting to hear how people from different parts of the world actually perceive Britain at the moment as well. You know, the amount and where Simon is at today is, you know, really it's a flagship for the country in the first place of being able to promote British culture. This type of movie promotes heritage and culture, which is really two of our biggest advantages, I think, in Great Britain, to sell to the rest of the world at the same time. The same with the royal event as well. But it'd be interesting because I think we all have different business interests on how our other guests feel that Britain could really come out of the situation we're in right now. Yeah, I get it. There could be a global recession happening at the moment as well, but it's interesting to hear what other people might be doing.
Let's go over to Roland. Any comments that you have?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the British are facing many challenges like other countries too. But before the pandemic, you had the problem with the Brexit, so people are really stuck. Companies are stuck. Nobody knows what's going to happen. What's the impact, especially on the labor market? What's going to happen? How many people can stay? As you mentioned before, there's a lack of labor or cheaper labor in the UK. Then the pandemic came. Now the Ukraine crisis does give it a rest. So the energy prices going up. The economy is really struggling, I guess, not only private people with rising living costs, also the economy, because energy is expensive. So what I will see is that there are some industries will really struggle with because of the high energy prices. But I strongly believe that Great Britain has a huge chance. On the other hand, to have a very traditional background, on the other hand, very clever people from all over the world who live there on this island, to go more, how to say, more a modern world, more focusing more on digitalization, more working on new concepts. I guess it's time to get out of the chair and be faster in digitalization. I guess it's more important because when I look at startup companies who are really doing well outside of the US, especially in Europe, most of the companies come from the Scandinavians or former Eastern European countries. There's not much seen from the UK. I guess there's a huge opportunity to grow in this market, I strongly believe.
Thank you, Roland.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to Hyatt Ives. Hyatt, welcome. Would you like to answer Ian's question?
Well, I am working with a British company right now here in the U.S. He is the U.S. licensee for British technology in the energy savings field. I've taken him to a national trade show a couple of weeks ago, the National Facilities Managers Show, and I'm taking him to the Texas Restaurant Association and the Building Owners and Managers Association show in the next couple of months. So while there is political turmoil and energy turmoil and all sorts of things, business is continuing, business is growing, and relative to seafood, the beauty of seafood trade shows is that the caterer at the host facility relinquishes their rights to be the only provider of food. So you end up being able to walk down the aisle and have a pizza here and an ice cream there and cheese there and all of the vendors that are selling products have samples, and it could be a very daunting show to go to as an exhibitor.
Can I just ask Hyatt a question, please? I mean, obviously at the moment, we would like to have more trade deals, or a trade deal, not more trade deals in plural, just a trade deal with America. What do you think is necessary to actually really create a trade deal, a proper trade deal between the two governments?
Well, rather than try to look at it at that global level, I think within the business verticals, the food vertical, the oil and gas vertical, the energy vertical. I think if the players in those verticals work together, they can get things moving in the right direction, as opposed to waiting for a global, U.S. to U.K. Massive approach, one size fits all approach.
Do you think that American business wants to do that? Is there, because, as I say, I understand what you're saying at the moment, but the British government, as soon as President Biden was made president, Johnson was flying over to try and get a deal for him to make Brexit work. How does American business think about Brexit?
That's above my pay grade. But I will say the facilities managers show that I went to, National Facilities Managers Show in Baltimore 3 weeks ago, one of the delegates was the Canadian railroad system. And you say, why that? Well, unbeknownst to a lot of people, the Canadian railroad is a T. It is the Pacific coast, the Atlantic coast, and the southern coast, the Caribbean coast. There is a rail line, part of the Canadian railroads, that comes through the United States down to New Orleans. So that's a way of answering what I said before, and that is the various industry verticals will work to make things happen and on their level. And if the national level things work out eventually, they're not going to wait for those kind of big global rules of the road to be written. They're working to make their vertical happen and continue to happen and grow effectively.
Thank you, Hyatt. Thank you, Ian. I'm going to go over to Mr. Simon MacDonald, who's been sitting so quietly there. I'm unmuting you. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me along again. It's nice to be back in the family. I was going to say in the family way, but that would sound very suspicious, me wearing my kilt today. Helena, I loved that trailer for Downton Abbey. It's the most incredible series. The first movie was wonderful, and this second one looks as if it's going to be really something else. And I mean, Downton Abbey, it's sort of close to my heart in many ways, because I remember the Christmas show 2012 was filmed largely at Inverary Castle, which is just along the road from where I actually live. Not where I am just now, but where I live in Scotland. And it's the seat of the Clan Campbell, which sort of brings to mind anybody who knows their Scottish history would wonder, why the heck should a MacDonald live so damn close to a Campbell when it's right in the middle of the lion's den, effectively? But that Christmas show was absolutely amazing, and it portrayed Inverary Castle very, very well. There was an interesting scene in it as well, which showed what is in the main hallway in the building, where normally the public are allowed in. And it shows all the swords and muskets and so on, which goes back 200-300 years and more. And the interesting thing is, it was my son that actually restored that armory for the Duke of Argyll, who is resident in Inverary Castle. Magnificent building. But anyway, enough distraction there. I'm in sunny Barcelona today. I've been allowed out to play. We're all allowed out to play. And guess what? We don't even have to wear a mask here. Only in taxis and I think on trains and things like that you have to wear it. But when you're in shops now, it's almost like freedom. So we've been allowed out to play. But at the Seafood Expo here, it's the biggest one of its kind in the world. The show covers around 50,000 square yards of exhibition space, which is pretty big in anybody's language. I believe there's just over 76 countries are involved in exhibiting here, and I've bumped into so many people that I know from the past. And believe me, when you wear a kilt over here as well, everybody wants the photograph taken with you. And the age-old question, is it true what they say about a Scotsman and what he has under his kilt? Well, in country like this where it's very hot, I just have to say it's good air conditioning I've got.
Actually, a delicate question on a fish show, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Simon,
talking of world recessions, and global recessions, you would not believe there's a recession on to see the amount of spending power that's been going on in this show. Everybody I've spoken to are just absolutely bowled over at the reception and the orders that are flooding in. I mean, I'm telling all my fishermen here, come on, guys, you got to go and get bigger boats now, because we've been getting absolutely incredible orders for langoustine, which is essentially, it's a luxury food, but people are still buying, and we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of tons. I reckon that yesterday morning alone, between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock, when the show was just in its infancy, I probably had inquiries for over $8 million worth of business to many countries, a lot into Spain, France, Italy, United States, Canada, and as far away as Taiwan as well. So there's money out there and people are spending it, but I wish they'd just spend it to me.
Yeah. I would concur on that. I saw the same thing at the facilities managers show, and it was from the education vertical, it was from the government verticals, it was from the oil and gas verticals. So they are spending money where they need to spend money to make infrastructure happen.
You're going to have to shout at me because I can hardly hear. The sound is a big problem here today in this hall. But
Simon,
yes.
Simon, I have a question for you. I'm spotlighting you so you can hear me better. I was reading in one of international magazines on cooking, a magazine I'm sure you would know. There's an article in there about how we as a global community are planning for sustainability and the movement where people are going to be eating more organic foods and eating more fish. And so in my understanding of the article, there's a lot of pressure coming on the fishing industry to make sure that there is enough fish as people move to a more sustainable way of living. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I got some of that, but I mean, the thing is, the langoustine there's no way you can farm these. These are wild creatures. In fact, the one that nipped me with its claws there yesterday morning, it wasn't just wild, it was furious. But it liked me. It didn't want to let go, obviously. But that's as organic as you can get. They're growing. They're in. That's the proper Scottish one there. Likes to play. Many a good tune out of an old fiddle, or a good fiddle out of an old tune. I'm not quite sure which round that should be. But yes, that was in the Barcelona fish market this morning. These fresh langoustines been flown over through the night to land at the Barcelona fish market around about 5 o'clock this morning. So that's fresh. And okay, it's a still photo, but these are actually live. That's our stand. There you can see the langoustine, which are featured over my shoulder, and you see the corner where I'm sitting in a very comfortable couch. I mean, if you're going to do this show, have the best seat in the house, please. Oh no, here we go. More photographs of that man in a kilt. Yes, I think I need to go on a diet looking at that. Just that thing hanging around my neck there is just in case I forget who I am. Not an unregular occurrence at times, I think. But there we go, Scottish langoustine.
So Simon, just to close out, sorry, Roland, I'll go to you 1 second. Just to close out, so you feel that the fishing industry is ramping up and preparing for when people have this new way of living and embracing more seafood into their diet?
Yeah, the fishing industry, it has its ups and downs. Just now catches are actually quite low, but very soon the catches are going to increase as summer months come on in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, catches will start to decrease a little bit as the winter comes in. So a lot of it's weather permitting. A lot of it weather permitting, the boats can actually get out in the first place. But water temperature makes a difference to the activity of what goes on down there on the seabed. But there is a sustainability about it. We, the fishermen, if you ever want to ask somebody who's a true put my own teeth in, Simon, a true conservationist, then ask a fisherman, because his livelihood depends on that ability to conserve and know when he's got enough time to go back home and leave some more for another day. And he's got his future to think about, the future generations, because fishing, after all, it's quite a heritable thing. And you'll find many families, in particular in the west of Scotland here, or there, should I say today, the west of Scotland, it's been a business that's been in the family for generations. So you're always trying to protect this for generations to come as well.
Thank you. Roland?
Yeah, Simon, what I want to know for our seafood lovers, especially langoustine lovers among our audience, are you seeing fast-growing prices in langoustine in particular and seafood in general because of rising energy prices?
I've lost you there.
Are the prices of langostina going up based on the fact that...
price of langostina are going up. Yes, they are going up a bit, but not drastically. But salmon prices are going up. The salmon prices has had a huge price hike just recently. There's plenty of it about. And farmed salmon, it's the UK's biggest food export. And to see the amount that has been here is quite incredible. I mean, we've got some of our top salmon farming companies here, top quality companies, and one alone, which when I had my smoking business, I would only buy their salmon because it's the best in the world. And they're here today as well for the 3-day show exhibiting, and their order book is filling up all the time as well. But there's plenty of water out there for them to grow the salmon in, and they're thriving. But fish prices in general, yes, they have crept up with the recent crisis, with cost of living and so on. Which reminds me, I had a young lady here yesterday and again today at our stall from Ukraine, and it was so lovely to talk to this person. She was very positive about the situation. I asked about her family. Is her family over there? And yes, the family is stuck in Kiev, but hoping that all's going to be well. There was an amazing positivity in her voice. It was actually very heartening to see, and we gave her a good, warm Scottish welcome to our stand here today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Simon. Any other questions for Simon?
I know Ian's going to ask a question. Where's my smoked salmon? And I've been stuffing myself with it all day. Oh, it's good to be alive here. That'll annoy him.
No, I have my smoked salmon in the fridge actually, but as I said to you, being a good half Scot, I cut it in half these days. So there's with the rise in prices, I've got to cut back on or make it work 2 days rather than one.
No. If you're going to have it, enjoy it. That's it.
I just stocked up on salmon over the weekend. Got 2 large pieces and cut them up, and they're ready to. In fact, we had it for dinner Sunday night. Most enjoyable.
Yeah, salmon. It's so good for you. I mean, it's full of omega-3 and omega-6. There's my teeth gone again. Omega-3 and omega-6 oils it's so healthy. The more you eat, the healthier you get. I think in theory with it, it's a wonderful, wonderful food. And it puts a nice rosy shine in your face as well. So there we go. I definitely vouch for it. Eat more fish. Fish is the dish.
Thank you, Simon. I just want to share something for our audience. I think this is quite fun. We have the Queen Elizabeth doll that you can purchase.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I wish I got my figure back like that.
So you just have to go over to Mattel.com, and there she is. You can go ahead and purchase. All right. Not a paid spokesperson, as I love to say.
Everyone has his own queen.
Yes. For sure.
There are a few of them been walking around here.
Can I ask a question? How was that priced? Well, is $75 a good price for a queen?
It's so funny that you mentioned that, Ian, because when I saw the $75, I was thinking to myself, the last time I bought a Barbie doll was probably like 10 years ago, because I have Barbies that I hang on my Christmas tree. They're all wearing Dior or Chanel or something after a fashion designer, and they were not $75. So I think it should be $100. I think it should be, I don't know, something with.
I'm surprised Her Majesty would go so cheaply.
I know. That me too. I think so. Maybe they're focusing on volume.
You'd think, couldn't you? I mean, it's limited edition, so $100 I would have thought would work, because it has to be that little bit special.
Or have fewer and make it $500 or something.
I remember doing a feature on Barbie dolls once years ago, when I was working for a newspaper, and there was a transition in the ages of people buying Barbie dolls. And the phrase that was starting to come in is that there were children, mainly the Barbie doll buyers, that children were getting older, younger now. And so where Barbies traditionally in the 70s and the 80s would be bought for perhaps children of 7, 8 or 9 years of age, they were now only being bought for 3 and 4-year-olds. And by the time 5 and 6-year-olds were coming in, they wanted something, like pop groups or something like that as well. So there's been apparently in the toy trade, there's been a tremendous transition these days in demand on what people are seeking. But it's interesting what you were saying, Jacqueline, as well about hanging them on a tree. I've never thought about that, but I must admit, I don't have Christmas trees anymore. I should visit America.
But you can't hang the queen.
No, the queen would go at the top. She would go at the top. You know, it's interesting though, because the Barbies were purchased years ago, and when we look at the world we're in today and being inclusive, I would have to say the Barbies all pretty much look the same, except for the clothes that they're wearing. And I don't think that from the ones that I had that they're really representative of us as a global community. But I did enjoy when I purchased them, because they're all beautiful. They're all wearing designer dresses, and they have their shoes. And when I put them away, I speak to them. I put them in a box with beautiful red feather boas. And now it's your time to sleep, and I'll bring you out at Christmas time. So kind of silly, I know.
Do you do that now?
Yes.
Oh, that's so lovely. Did you used to have Cindy's as well? Does anyone remember Cindy dolls? I used to prefer them, actually.
No, I don't know of Cindy dolls.
Really beautiful.
I used to have a pet rock once.
I think they were a little bit more real somehow, a little bit more chic. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I used to like Cindy dolls.
Well, I do have the Ken doll, just to make sure you guys know that there was a man in the picture, of course, and one Ken and 10 ladies. So
this is the secrets of Dr. Jacqueline coming up.
It is. Well, every year when I put up a tree, the tree is white, and then the red feather boas that go around it, and everything on the tree has some tie to fashion. I have a Karl Lagerfeld bag that was like a, exclusive. It's very tiny, red patent leather. And so each thing on there has some memory for me. And I know it's crazy. This is why I'm alone. Do you see? Do you get it?
Your mother.
Yes, my mother.
Well, Ken is there.
Yes, there's always Ken. So, by the way, I want to just...
while you were talking, there was a very pretty young lady came and sat down beside me. I have no idea who she is. I promise that.
Does she really exist? Where is she, Simon?
I think she realised that she was live on USA Global TV, and she got up and went away again.
Oh, no.
Yes. So it was. I think everybody's wanting to be photographed with a guy in a kilt. So this is, it's become a bit of a sort of standard thing. It's happened numerous times today.
Well, I'm wondering if any of the other gentlemen are going to start wearing kilts. Sorry. Are any of the other gentlemen going to start wearing kilts? Is that something that's in your future?
I am the only other one. Actually, no, there is one other person on the Scottish Pavilion, which is vast, might add. And we've got a resident chef on the pavilion who's also wearing a kilt. So there's two of us today. Oh, here we go again. I can see this photograph now is going to get played to bits. The Boston
you know it is. You opened it up for this.
We've got to have the Scottish bit now, though. I've got one to steal the show, and that's the prawn with the bagpipes as well. So we've got another Scottishness and the tartan prawn about the place.
I'd wear one if I could find one in the size. I've been around people in kilts because they've been the Scottish Pavilion at the Oil and Gas Show, and I've done shows up in Aberdeen and so on. But nobody's ever offered me a kilt to put on. So but I'd do it if I had one.
Hyatt, I would love, while you're here before we close out the show, for you to share with our lovely panel your connection to the UK, because I know it's really important to you, and I'd love to have you tell them about it.
My father was career military. We spent 4 years in the UK, 58 to 62, and he packed me off to a British boarding school, a Jesuit boarding school in Windsor, actually in Old Windsor. And they had an annual essay contest. This was 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they had an award at the end of the semester. And as 8th grader always won it, except the year I was there as a 7th grader, and I was awarded best writer in the school. And as a result, since the British Jesuits appreciated that, I wrote a book called "That Ain't Not Right: The Use and Abuse of the English Language." That was my first book, and my second book is business-to-business trade show marketing, which I've done all over the world, and I have fun doing both. In fact, I have a weekly column that I put out entitled "That Ain't Not Right: The Use and Abuse of the English Language," and so I have a great affinity for the British. I put my vitamins in their aluminium container on schedule, talking about boots, bonnets, and lorries, and love every minute of it. And the fact that my number one client is British makes it all the better.
I've actually just a quick story then, because of what Hyatt was saying about how he first won fame, as a schoolboy. So did I. This is going back 65 years now. That there used to be a children's comic. And you used to, every week, they would say, if you write in about your town, you could win a prize. And one week, lo and behold, I open up the comic, and there's my name, and there's my story about the town where I was born at that time. And I got the princely sum of 10 shillings, which is 50p now, so which is about 60 cents. Yeah. In those days, 60 cents bought a lot more than it buys today.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to share that clip that we watched, this Downton Abbey, this scenery was magnificent. And the way people were dressed, I just love that whole era. Where was it filmed? It's all filmed in the south of France? Does anyone know?
Some of it's in the south of France, but the Downton Abbey is actually Highclere Castle, which is in Berkshire, which is in the southern counties of England, and the owners have made a fortune because now they open up Highclere Castle as Downton Abbey, so that they're getting all there's a lot of money coming from that. And then the owner, and I forget who he is again now, but he does 4 dinner parties a year, and he expects £250,000 per dinner party.
Is he still living there?
Yeah, he's still living there, and in probably in better surroundings than he was before Downton Abbey started. It's been one of the godsends, and I know Helena and I, Helena very kindly has got me, well, the two of us, tickets to go and see Downton Abbey next week, the new movie. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So much fun. Do you think you could do an illegal bootleg of filming it while you're there? And I'm kidding.
I was just about to say, don't ever say illegal things on air.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Hopefully it's going to come to the United States at some point, probably in a few months, I would think.
Well, it's one of the Downton Abbey, even in America as well. It's I don't know whether you still have. Do you still have BBC America in America? I don't know. I used to work for BBC America, but I don't know whether it still exists. But the reality is that it's a very big market in America as well, and in places like Europe, Germany, and so forth. Thank goodness that they all love British heritage and culture, because that's what keeps us going and keeps Simon in his salmon.
You get the BBC through PBS, Public Broadcasting.
Yeah,
they cover several British and BBC programs.
Well, I did the first ever PBS show for America for BBC America with Helena. It was called Royally Mad, and it went to #1 box office. I was very pleased to know at the time, but it was one of these very strange occasions. But hopefully we will still, because it's now being talked about that even the BBC, our great British institution, is under attack by the government as well at the moment. They're wanting to see whether they can privatise it.
Question I have. Oh, go ahead, Roland, please.
JACALYN, I have to out myself right now. I'm a huge fan of movies that are playing in the early 20th century, 1920 or something like that. And I remember when I was a student in the early 80s, the first movie I saw about this was A Room with a View, half in the UK, half in the Tuscan area. And since then, I'm a huge fan. I love the landscapes wherever they make the movie, the castles, the beautiful houses, the music, the fashion. I'm a huge fan of it.
Thank you for sharing that. So I have a question for everyone before we close out. My question is about the whole movie theater going experience. I know my mom and I would go to the movie theater all the time, the cinema. And then with the pandemic, many of them shut down. And I think even a lot of the big A-listers, celebrities, went to streaming services. So what are you finding in the various parts of the world? Are people, you mentioned you're going to the theater. Are theaters still the going out to a theater? Is that still a thing? Or are people more into the streaming of watching movies? Who wants to take that? Helena?
I think lots of people are streaming. Lots of people, especially through lockdown, were streaming. So it's really, really common. I mean, everybody, even going to the cinema, everyone needs that little bit of going out as if you're doing something special. Well, it is special, isn't it? So people are really hungry to do things. So whether it's going to the theatre, seeing any productions, people really, really, really want it and need it. And especially if you can just see fun things and really visual, bright colours or sunshine, anything like that. People are trying to get out there, but streaming's huge. I mean, streaming just goes on 24/7. That's always going to be around.
Definitely. Thank you. I know here in South Florida, before the pandemic, my mom and I loved to go to this specific theater, and the seats recline all the way, and they give you a blanket, and they have a button, and they come and bring you food, and they bring you drinks, and it's sort of an amazing experience. But then I haven't been back since the pandemic. But anyone else want to share what's going on in their part of the world when it comes to actually going to a theater?
I think going to the theatre is always good because I've been going to cinema for 65 years now. And I think when my mother first took me, and then we used to have a thing in Britain called Saturday morning pictures, and this was for children, and it was really the first steps of where you could go. Well, it was really a dime in American money to actually go, and you got 3 hours of entertainment as well. And so it introduced, I think, my generation to the cinema, and I don't think there's anything better, you know. And I remember seeing all sorts of things. Cinerama, if you know what Cinerama was, it was almost like surround filming in a cinema, and how the West was won. And it was done in 70mm, and this was the most incredible thing at the time, where you could look 3/4 of the way around the screen, and you were seeing all the different projections happening as well. So there's been a lot of advances, I think, in cinema at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I remember that. That was quite an experience when you would see the screen went all the way around practically.
Mm-hmm.
Last comments before we close out, because we have another show, Fashion, Travel, and Fitness. Who would like to have the last word?
Hey, do you know what? I just think, just given the feeling in the UK, I just think it's just so important. People are feeling quite angry. People want things to be fair. People don't want liars. People are looking out for each other. And I think the biggest thing really is, and I think people are being, this word, is to be kind and just to be looking out for people. And also, actually, you know, I know Ian was talking about, we were talking about just go for it. And we need innovation. We need new business in London. So, I mean, sort of taking thoughts from the Tesla magnate, Elon Musk, you know, who's just bought Twitter, or just buying Twitter, which is incredible. Just go for it. I mean, even if you don't have any money, if you've got a great idea, run with it, you know, and just surround yourself with like-minded people, because you can create magic and create the most amazing things. And I think our world needs it at the moment.
And I think one of the ways to do that is to go to trade shows. We're both at, I've been to them just recently, and Simon is there in Barcelona, and they are people establishing relationships with other people to get things done. And the excitement of moving forward is just there, and it will exhilarate you. So find a show, use it as a tool to market yourself and get back in the game.
Thank you so much, Hyatt. All right, we're going to have to go over to Simon now. Simon, what are your thoughts?
Hi there. I'm really having problems struggling to hear anything anybody is saying. Actually struggling even to think what I'm saying.
Well, we're saying goodbye. We're closing out the show. So final words from you.
Right. Okay. Oh, is it that time already? Goodness gracious. I can't believe it. So that's a very, very quick hour-long show. But yeah, it's been wonderful being back on here again. My voice is starting to go as well, because it's just been non-stop talking. And for somebody like me, and you know me too well, I'm just about to talk for Scotland, which I do. So the voice is starting to go. It's been a great time here again this week, though, in spite of all the difficulties. But anybody wanting to contact me, then there we are. You've got my details there, and it's email them at macdonaldsimon@ymail.com. It's not a G, it's a Y. I wonder why myself. So there we are. But I look forward to seeing you all again when I'm back in the civilized world of the West Highlands of Scotland. And we'll speak again soon. It's lovely to be on the show every week. I look forward to it.
Well, thank you for taking us with you while you're traveling, and enjoy the rest of your trip. Okay. All right, everyone, we're going to sign off now, and just thank everybody for watching, and thank you to the panel for delivering such great content as always, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.